expect the White House to hold a bring your spouse to work day anytime soon. Kellyanne Conway's husband, portly George Conway, has been a vocal critic of the president almost since the day he was sworn in. But lately, he's been claiming the president has mental problems. And President Trump had been taking the high road with Mr. Kellyanne, but that all ended today when he tweeted that Conway was, quote, a total loser. Aw, one of the good old phrases. It's one of the nicest things he's ever said about his critics on Twitter. George Conway shot right back saying, quote, congratulations, you just guaranteed that millions of more people are going to learn about narcissistic personality disorder and malignant narcissism. Great job. The Conway kerfuffle comes on the heels of the president's weekend-long attacks on late Arizona Senator John McCain, which were condemned by many in his own party, including Mitt Romney. So should the president be mixing it up like this on Twitter? Seems like it's a bit of a distraction from his ultimate economic game. But joining me now to answer all of that, Press Secretary for the Trump 2020 national campaign, Kayleigh McEnany. Welcome back, Kayleigh.
Thank you, Kennedy.
So there is one theory on Twitter, which I think is very interesting, and it's that Kellyanne Conway doesn't want to stand up to the president herself, so she is going to her husband and saying, the president is crazy, but I can't say it because I like my job and it helps my business. And George like, here's the DSM-5, the president is nuts, boop.
Yeah, I've got to say I disagree with that theory. Kellyanne Conway has said she disagrees with her husband. She's one of the strongest defenders of the president out there on a daily basis, fighting the hard battles. She clearly stands behind this president, and she's been there going back all the way to 2016.
Then why isn't George Conway venting privately? Because you have to admit that it is a big distraction.
Sure, I can't speak to the motives of George Conway, but I'll say this. What he is saying is entirely off base. It's ridiculous. It's unfounded. No grounding in truth. It doesn't make anyone's job easier, but it's very far from the truth. And Kellyanne has said she disagrees with it herself. Certainly the president does, and everyone who interacts with the president, including myself, would tell you that it is entirely off base what he's tweeting.
It certainly is weird, and that sort of speaks to how you're going to tackle the distraction, because, you know, a little later in the show, we're going to talk about the economic reality in this country, and it is quite rosy. We're actually living in a great time if you are looking for a job or investing in the stock market. And the idea of a blossoming new day in America is certainly feeling like a reality to many, many people. And those are the types of things that the president should be talking about. But instead, we're talking about this Conway on Conway rift, and I'm wondering what the White House plans to do about it.
You know, I think the average American, they probably don't even know who George Conway is. They probably don't pay much attention to his. They might if you're watching cable news.
If you follow the president on Twitter.
Right, but look, they're not paying attention to the back and forth between George Conway. The president has a right to defend himself.
Sure.
He's, you know, for a whole year dealt with this and defended himself on this point, rightfully so. But the average American's looking around saying this economy's never been better. 71% in the most recent CNN poll, and that's what determines votes.
Yeah, but
substance and issues.
Then maybe George Conway is upset with his wife and he's being incredibly passive aggressive, and these are some of the things that he should be talking about with her in private, because he's jeopardizing her job and reputation, and he should be thinking of their 4 kids. But I want to talk about the way the president has been handling the late Senator John McCain, because it is unbecoming, and it is the type of thing that he said he was going to put behind him during the campaign. He promised during the campaign that he was going to make a pivot, and I don't think this is where he needs to make a pivot. And surely, as a rational person, you agree with that.
Well, what I agree with is that the president has a right to defend himself over the dossier, which was given by John McCain to the FBI. And one of John McCain's associates, we learned this week, gave it to 12 reporters. This is a dossier full of horrendous allegations, none ringing in truth, about the president. And if that was said about you or me or anyone else, we surely would defend ourselves from that, too, and certainly against someone who provided that erroneous information to the FBI.
It's really hard for a dead person to go on offense, but I will internalize those comments. Thank you so much, Kayleigh.
Thank you.
Very good.